Hi, I'm Gary Betticher, and welcome to the Unit 1 notes for the database class, which we'll go over at this time. I want you to notice as you go through the notes, you'll see, for example, these links, these images there, and assuming you've got a hard copy, if you go over it, the cursor will change and you can click on it and watch the video. I would suggest watching the video before going any further in the notes whenever you encounter one of these videos. Okay, so the first unit here, we're going to look at the Introduction to Databases, Database Lifecycle. And what you'll see in this unit notes and all notes, we'll see the goals, and in this case, this unit provides motivation for studying databases, reviews the database lifecycle, and also references the online syllabus, which was done in a previous video. Now, as you go through the notes, I put in the notes objectives, and the purpose of the objectives is the following. For example, one is identify justification for studying database, identify course requirements, major milestones, phrases, stages within the database lifecycle, and a lot of these keywords. So after going through the Unit 1 notes, or any notes for that matter, what you want to do is go back to the objectives and say, can you identify justifications for studying databases? That is, answer those questions here. Also, pay very careful attention to the definitions that are provided. And one thing that's important is to know these definitions very, very well. And so if you see definitions within the notes, which will be identified, make sure you go over the definitions several times. You want to know these definitions as well as you know your name. Finally, in the beginning of every unit, you'll see an outline of what we're going to be doing for that particular unit. So now we'll do the motivations. We've already done the syllabus. We've already done the online orientation. You got to read chapters 1 and 2 of Al-Masri, some undergraduate review, database lifecycle, and then there's review questions and exercises at the end of each particular unit. Okay, why study databases? Okay, well, databases came into being about 1970. There was a paper by Cod, as in Boyce Cod, and Relational Model of Data for Large Shared Data Banks. And based on that, set the groundwork for databases up to what we have now. And so they've been around for, computer terms, a long time. Also, it's estimated the world's producing about 2 exabytes of data, which is 10 to the 18th times 2, which is about 250 megabytes per person on this planet. So a lot of data is being generated. Furthermore, I've got these 2 graphs here. The one on the left shows the hardware costs as having come down dramatically over the years. And the graph on the right shows the hard disk capacity increasing dramatically over the years. Now, I'll kind of date myself and describe my first microcomputer. It had a 40 megabyte hard drive. And I thought I was in heaven, and now, you can get terabytes on your hard drive, and so quite dramatic in terms of the change in hard drive capacity. So the cost is going down, capacity is going up, and one inspection shows it's increasing by a factor of 7 every 3 years in terms of capacity growth. So here's also another graph, but this graph shows the growth of the global growth of databases for the next several years, and this is as of 2017. Now this graph looks a little bit confusing, and what it's showing is here's Oracle at the top, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server. And what we see is a lot of Oracle is still kind of the top dog, as I say, in terms of being the most popular database. Others are gaining ground here, and we see Hive, which is associated with big data, for example. And there's a reason I mentioned that about Oracle. Also, what we see is the Oracle stock over the years, and it's almost like a ruler kind of going up dramatically. And this is a log scale, so we see a really nice growth there. And that's for the last 18 years or so. No, 28 years, sorry. And so Oracle is still dominating the market, and what you'll see is that we'll be spending, when we talk about relational database, we'll be talking in the context of Oracle. And a little bit later on in the semester after the midterm, we'll talk about the Oracle architecture. And the idea is there are a lot of different architectures to learn about, but I want to give you some exposure to that one, since Oracle is still the dominant database in the arena. Now, there's a lot of changes going on, and what I want to point out here is we have relational databases. There's also what's called non-relational databases. We'll be talking about NoSQL, for example, and there's within NoSQL there's key values, documents, graphs, for example. We also see relational different databases, but we'll be focusing on Oracle there. And so this gives you an idea of how things are put together. We will talk, I think the last or next to last class, about big data. So I want to give you some exposure about that. And someday this might be you at the Reliance Center or wherever they have the graduation ceremony. You get to throw up your cap and think, hooray, I got through this database class. Well, keep working hard, you'll get through it, and I'll do whatever I can to help you succeed in this class. So the question is, okay, what happens after you graduate? And a couple of articles I want to point out here. One is eZine. It says the number of database administrator is expected to grow from 119,000 to 154,000. Also, there's increases in salary. I want to point out some of those things here. And one of the most common places to go is what's called the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And in 2014 through 2024, they expect an 11% growth rate, annual growth rate, and it's faster than average for all occupations. So for database administrators, we see, like, and this is 2014, salary 80,000, less than 5 years, number of jobs, job outlook, and employment change looks very good. So on the U.S. News World's report, they show the salary of database administrators. We see a nice curve increasing there, and the median's about 80,000. If you're in the top 25, it's 103. If you're in the bottom 25, it's 59,000. So that's quite attractive. And we see, for example, some salaries from Indeed.com related to database. Database administrator, 83. SQL database admin, 90. And so you can read these. Oracle at 98. Senior Oracle DBA, and so forth. So a lot of very attractive salaries. And one thing I want to mention is that I know a graduate who was able to get on a consulting job in UTMB in Galveston, University of Texas Medical Branch, doing consulting, database consulting, getting $125 an hour or $1,000 a day. That's certainly a very attractive salary, and he was, I'd say, 26, 25, so he's still pretty young. Also, if you go to monster.com, search database, you'll see it generates about 5,000 hits. So, benefits and results of studying database. There's been an increase in memory capacity, decrease in memory costs, very good salary, very good job outlook for the next 10 years. Okay, well, we've gone over the syllabus and we've gone over the online orientation, so we'll skip that for now.